Hello, this isn't live, in case you hadn't guessed. I have basically come to the conclusion, and with some advice from an IT professional, that the laptop really can't cope. We're currently saving up to get some improvements. A microphone is probably going to be the first thing. I just might go with this method of just recording as if it's live and then uploading to YouTube. But otherwise just basically hitting the start and stop button and doing nothing else. So the first thing we might well attempt to do is get ourselves a microphone just to improve the sound quality. I just wanted to come on, explain what's going on, to make excited noises about this, because I am very excited about this. This is the Kukri that I mentioned in one of the streams. I've ordered it from Ravenforge. See the symbol on there. It's made from a single rail spike. It's high quality, high carbon steel. I have put a bit more of an edge on it than it came with, but it's only got a very basic edge. The reason I'm talking about this is because I like knives, and I use knives on a daily basis, and I've used knives for many, many years. I do know how to sharpen them. This is going to be a working tool. This is not going to be something that's hung on a wall or in a display cabinet or something like that. In saying that, the handle is quite small for my hand. It's a nicely decorative. I mean, look at this. Beautiful. But when you can compare it to the size of my hand, it's quite short, which means that this thin part here is actually flapping around between my thumb and forefinger. I'm not getting enough control, or the control that I want. So, as much as it pains me to do so, I am quite probably going to cover this in some way. How, as of yet, I'm not entirely sure. I'm thinking on it. In case you couldn't tell, that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking about it. I've always liked the look of the type of handle that you sometimes find on tools, which is just basically layers. It's stacked leather, and it's just basically layers of leather stacked along there like that, and then they're shaped by sanding them, and then you just heavily wax them. But it requires something at this end, like a pommel, or sorry, that's that end, like a guard or something here, to hold it in place. It wouldn't necessarily work in this situation. So the other thing I could do is just wrap leather around it and build it up a bit before putting a final layer on top of it to hold it all in place and sewing it down. So that might be a way of doing it. I might try something like that, and that would give me quite a nice, large, grippable handle. The other thing about it is this little notch here is actually got a burr on it, which lends itself quite well to being used with a fire steel. If I can get it at the right angle. There we go. Burning bits of magnesium all over the place. Whew. I should open the door. It won't take long to change the air out. We've got a hurricane coming through. It's Storm Dennis. It's D, and then tomorrow we've got E, Eunice or something. I don't know. But it's not nice out there. So yeah, it came with this leather sheath, which would serve a purpose. For the price that you pay for this, it's not a bad sheath. Someone has put a token amount of effort into it. There's some colouring on the edge here. They've obviously sanded the edges to get them all even and put some colouring on it, but the colouring stops there and doesn't carry on. None of the other edges are finished on anywhere else on it apart from where there is the welt through the middle. It's been machine sewn. The machine has missed the last one there. I don't know whether it broke or whether it's come undone. You can see there's a little bit of loose thread there. That is basically just about ready. If I give it enough of a tug, it'll just start to unzip. It's got, I don't know what the leather is. I think it might be beef, but it's very it's not exactly high quality. It's quite a cheap one. You can see that from the inside here. It's okay. It'll do the job. Let's make a better one. How? Yeah. As you just saw me demonstrate, I can use it with a fire steel. Now, for those of you that don't know me, or personally, I do like to do bushcraft. I used to do a lot of it. I haven't really had much chance since opening a business to do a great deal of it because I'm too busy working. I really do miss it. My daughter's now getting to the age where she can actually come out with me. We are planning a camp soon. So normally what I would carry for fire lighting purposes would be my trusty little Mora knife. When I say little, I do mean dinky. This is brilliant for doing feather sticks with. A feather stick is where you just take a dry stick and you shave it, very fine shavings, and then you can use the fire steel to light it. Or that's not quite as easy to do. You sometimes light something else that then lights the feather stick, and you get a nice big flame going quite quickly. You'd make 4 or 5 feather sticks, and you get yourself a fire going quite quickly that way. It utilises the dry wood on the inside. Very good little knife. I was thinking about trying to include that in the sheath until I realised it actually works with the fire steel quite well. It leaves a few marks on the blade, but as I said, this is going to be treated as a tool rather than a decorative item. So to that end, that's how I'm treating it. So that will probably just end up in my pocket or in my pack or something. Right, sorry about that. Previous customer left their phone in the shop. His mate started to ring it, so come and find it. That was rather like a what the hell moment. Anyway, what was I saying? Can't remember. Using this with the fire steel. Yeah, this knife is intended to not necessarily be for the finer work that this would be. It kind of replaces carrying a hatchet. It would be for chopping up wood, not almost replacing a small hatchet in some respects. There's a lot of things you can do with a knife like this, particularly one that's as robust as this. Let's put it that way, because it really is quite robust. So we will possibly not integrate that with it. I'll put a lanyard on the end of that and wear it as a neck knife, so I've got it with me, but include this in the build. I'm kind of torn about the idea though, because this particular item here was given to me. It's nothing much to the average person, but the person that gave it to me trusted me with some of his leather work. He doesn't normally give anybody any of his leather work, and it was really nice to actually receive it as a gift. It was before I left Kent to come up here, and he's done a pretty nice job of it. And I've been using it for years now. It normally just sits on my belt, and I have my fire steel in it. The fire steel is nothing particularly special. I buy these off of Amazon, and I put the antler on the end myself just to act as a bit of a handle. I've made several like that now. But I'd like to be able to not separate them, I guess. I do have my other fire steel at home. I could always use that in this and put that to one side and just mount this with the sheath in some way. Just I'm doing this down here. Let me just. There we go. Yeah, so possibly mount it on a sheath like that, or possibly the other way around. The other thing that I was trying to consider is where I would mount it on my belt, because I thought it would be nice to have it sideways mount, a horizontal mount like that. It's reasonably well balanced. Let me just see, it balances about there. Yeah, so it's basically just forward of the handle. So when I'm holding it, it is quite well balanced. The pommel is pulling the weight on it to stop the blade from being too heavy, which is really good actually. Didn't really expect that. But the thing is, horizontal mount, it wouldn't be trying to turn itself in the sheath the whole time. It's quite well balanced. And if you have it on your back, the back of the belt, you're more likely to stab yourself in the kidney trying to put the damn thing away. On the right hand side of my belt, I have other things, being right-handed. So having it as a dangling sheath like the one that I just threw across the room means that every time you kneel down, you have the opportunity to stab yourself in the back of the leg with it instead. You know, stab yourself in the foot, or it just digs in the ground. So a horizontal mount, but possibly on the left-hand side of my belt, so I can reach it with my right hand. And when I'm wanting to put it away, I can guide it with my left hand into the sheath. Not going to stab myself, not going to cut a digit off or stick it in my leg. I thought that was probably the best of both worlds. It could be made in such a way that it could also go horizontally on the belt, vertically, sorry, on the belt somewhere. One feature of the sheath I just threw away, a long way down that, the belt loop actually does rotate out of the way. Probably not intentional because it's just basically on a rivet, but that could be a function. These are things I'm trying to consider. The other thing to consider also is the fact that because of the shape of the knife, the sheath is open a lot like that, because you can't just get a straight draw out of the sheath with it. It's got to, as you see, it rises up and it's just starting to poke out of the sheath there. So that is the furthest forward that you could have it closed up to. It's probably got to, it's probably got to be closed up to about there. This part, you can get it in and out without opening that bit, so that seems kind of superfluous. So I'm going to actually use this sheath as a guideline to help me work out how to make a new sheath. One thing as well is that the welt on the inside, it's very difficult to show you with the camera. The welt actually allows that to slot in. So that actually helps hold the knife still in the sheath. Because once that's done up, it can't come out. As long as it slots in properly, like that, it's not coming out. So admittedly, that's the only thing that actually holds it in, is that bit of leather there. So I think to some extent I will get that tightened up. There's a lot of space from here to the top of the knife. So it needs to be a finer tolerance on that, so that the knife can't even move that far. And basically shouldn't be able to move. So we're going to tighten it up still. So these are the things that I'm trying to take into account. And then what leather to use. It's not as if I'm short of leather. But we're talking about something that needs to be rugged here. We'll probably come to that bit. I think the first bit I'm going to do is try and figure out this handle. Yeah. Put that back in there. Oh yeah, just got to say thank you very much to Raven Forge for the usual team photo that comes with it. You normally get a message on the back there. It's like, Ben, 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 what an order, cracking, Matt. And you get a sweet. What have I got? Deadbeat Blacksmith. I think that's one of the smiths that they work with. Absolutely no idea what flavour that's supposed to be, but it's quite nice. Thank you very much, Raven Forge, for my birthday present. I am liking it. Now, I pulled this out, because this is some of the leftovers of that Californian hide from Horween in America. Yeah, it's got a nice colour to it and everything. But should I make the handle match the sheath? I don't think I've got enough of this to make the sheath. What do you think, dear? to get rid of the sweet. I'm just eating my sweet. We're in disguise.
We're in the shop.
There's nobody else in here.
I put it on every time you make me stand up and walk out of the room. Anyway, what did you want?
Discussing this blade with.
Okay.
I'm wondering how I could do it, because it needs to be wider here, this part here.
Okay.
When I hold it, as you can see, there's not much. It's basically only these 3 fingers that are on the handle, and then it gets thinner dramatically. So my thumb and forefinger have got nothing to grip.
Your hand's too big for.
My hand's too big for the handle.
Yeah.
It's either that, or the handle could have done with coming a lot further up. Normally it would do. There would be some sort of guard about there on the knife.
Just a limit to the amount of material they've got.
Yeah, it does seem a little weird that they've actually made such a short handle on a blade that's so big.
Well, it's a rail spike.
Yeah, well, I know that.
Yeah.
But it's quite well balanced.
Yeah.
So literally, where the handle would start. So it basically makes the blade feel weightless, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. It's not top heavy, it's not bottom heavy, it's balanced. Which for the money I paid, I really didn't expect that, but it's good. So trying to think about how to do it. It's killing me the fact that I've got to cover up this really nice decorative handle. But apart from building up layers of leather,
I was thinking, yeah, if you have some sort of padding in the top bit.
it's basically got to come to about here-ish.
Yeah.
Because apart from that one thing as well, if I'm doing a lot of work with it, even though the corners are rounded off, they're going to end up rubbing a hole in my hand.
They will, yeah, you'll get
You know,
a blister or whatever.
I'll get a blister or something. I don't really want to negate this, because that actually helps a lot. The pommel fits your hand. So it only needs to be built up from about here to here. And then the rest just needs covering. So it's just a case of building up some layers.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, because there's a technique where you use just scrapped bits of leather, and normally the tang, there'll be a guard here, and the tang, you'd just slide the leather on. You'd have like a circular piece of leather with a hole cut in the middle of it, and you'd slide it on and just keep gluing it as you go, gluing layers on.
So
they're all horizontal like that.
Yeah, layers the other way.
Yeah.
What you'd expect.
It uses a heck of a lot less leather, but it makes it quite strong.
But you can't really slide it on.
But I can't really slide it on.
No.
But you see, if I'm going to cover it with another piece of leather,
you could just cut it.
It's stopping it from sliding that way. But then if the layer on top of that is glued onto it, it would all become one, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And stop it from sliding that way. I would have to...
You have layers, and in order to get them on, you'd have to cut a slit in it. But as long as you cut a slit in a different place each time, when they're glued on, it will be...
I'd just glue the edge. I just glue all the edge in the same place, you know.
But that leaves a weak spot for the.
Yeah, but I'm going to put then put a layer of leather over the top.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah, and the layer of leather would go from. But it wouldn't need to actually come from here, would it? It only needs to come from there.
Yeah, but then it would have to size down from there to there, so that you could hold on to the rest of it.
Yeah, but if you look at the profile of it that way, you can see how it tapers quite heavily to about there.
So you just want to put the handle over the tape, over to where it...
Literally from there to there would be the minimum that you'd have to do. The size is fine around those two fingers, and possibly even that one. It's just too thin for my thumb and forefinger. And quite frankly, that's where the grip comes from.
Well, if you do what you're suggesting and make the layers and stick it on, you can always carve it to shape afterwards.
Well, yeah, the intention would be to sand it so that they're all the right size.
It's going to be a bit odd having it half leather and half metal, though.
Maybe. But if it doesn't work, then I can always just put leather right way along.
Yeah.
This could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be a very interesting project.
I think the
Not
important...
something that you've seen anywhere else either.
No, I've got no experience to draw upon for this because nobody else has, as far as I know, has done this.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so...
Have a go. You've got lots of scraps to produce.
Yeah, I've got a lot of scraps. Yeah, let's give this a shot then. Let's get a box of scraps out.
Right.
I think it's more important to get the handle working right because actually the handle will affect the sheath.
Yes, it will. And you can't use it if it's going to give you calluses the moment you start.
Well, blisters more than anything.
Blisters, yeah.
Yeah. And then it does also need to be sharpened properly.
Yeah.
We need to somehow figure out how to sharpen that. I don't know if our little electric sharpener over there is actually going to do this.
You can try, but it might not.
It might not. I have sharpened it up a heck of a lot, actually. It's almost...
It's sharp. It's not as sharp as it could be, but it's sharp.
It's more... It's sharp like an axe would be.
Yeah, no.
See, it's not quite got...
No.
Yeah, just doing that has caused the edge to disappear. It needs to be sharpened better. So it'd be sharp enough to be an axe, whereas a chopper, but I'd like it to be a little bit sharper. But then you don't want it to have too fine an edge on it because as you're smacking things with it, it buckles the edge of the metal.
Yeah.
And then you screw it up. You have to regrind it. So it depends. You can either have it razor sharp and not use it for chopping, or you can have it sharp like an axe, like I said, and you can just sit there and chop. Might have to have some experimentation with how I'm using it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
Let's get a box of scraps out. The thicker the better the leather, really. Oh, and look at that. A piece of leather bend.
That'll be solid. Yeah.
Okay, here's a piece of leather bend. I think what happened with this was when I was sent it, there was something else in the box. I think it was a piece of wax, wax polish, and it just basically covered the entire piece of leather. And I went back to the people I bought it from and said, and they sent me another piece of leather. So this piece is free, and I've also been intending to use it as a sole for a shoe or something. So I don't know if the light will work there on that. Don't know. Let's try putting some light on. There we go. That probably makes it even worse, but you can just about see a silver line on there. I've drawn around the foot, basically. This is also going to be really difficult to cut. I don't need much, though. This is a Ranger. Not a Power Ranger, it's just a Ranger. How big of bits am I going to need? It doesn't have to be really wide. So really, if I can maybe cut something that's like an inch, trim it down. Yeah, let's see if I can get like an inch out of it. Pen. Ah, pen. These Rangers are not exactly easy to get a precise line out of, but this will help. It also helps if they're bolted down. For your information, that is nearly 7mm thick. And it's hard leather. See, it's almost like wood. 7mm thick. Oh yeah, of course. It's one of them rulers, isn't it? Oh, I don't get my head around these things properly. Right, so that 1 inch. Really helpful if this was clamped down in some way. Mm-hmm. Let's just see if we can cut roughly 1 inch sections off of this. Might need to go bigger. I'll have to see how this works. Put that over there. How's this recording doing? I'm just using Windows to record this. It's really basic. That's a good 5mm thick. It's 5mm thick there. That's solid. Yeah, I do something along those lines there. Yeah, okay. I'm starting to wonder if it'd be easier to cut a piece like that. Yeah. Change of thought. Then I won't get the stacked appearance. Let's cut a piece that's 1.5 inches wide. Bear with me on this one. This was working easier when I was standing up doing this, wasn't it? Oh. Let's say about there-ish. Right, so what I'm planning to do here is a piece on either side, like that. I'm going to taper it to match that taper. Then fill in the top and the bottom parts of the gap with leather, glue it in. Then shape it on the sanding machine. Completely opposite to everything I've just said that I was going to do. Then quite probably just wrap it really tight with leather cord or something. Don't know. We'll work on that bit when I get to it. I can quite probably just shape this on the machine. I'll work out where the taper is going to have to be, it starts to taper about there-ish. Alright, back in a moment. Okay, that's the real noisy bit done. As you can see now, everything's back to front in the camera. That is a pretty closely matched taper. Easy for me because this is what I do for a living. This is what I do with shoes all the time, splicing in pieces of material and stuff like that. Obviously, yes, I know it's a lot wider. I'm going to work on that bit. But then what I'm thinking is that the piece of leather then went in there. I can quite probably these pieces, yeah, okay, take these pieces that I cut earlier, cut a wedge shape in them, or make them into a wedge shape and wedge them into there, and then glue it in place. Then it'll be a case of shaping it so as it fits my hand better, and then putting a wrap on it, putting some leather around the outside of it. Actually, to tell you the truth, no, because it doesn't have to be quite so, it doesn't have to be the full depth of it, does it? Those don't quite fit. Right, got some more chopping up bits. I'll get the taper sorted out first and then cut them in half. Whereas my fingers are going to get very close to this sanding wheel and it's not fun. One minute sec. Right, so on the machine over there, when I use the shoe repairs, I've just tapered a couple of bits of leather like this and then cut them in half. They now fit in there like that. They are a reasonably close fit. I think, oh, you can't really see it because of the elastic band being in the way at the moment, but I can move that up. But basically, if I just put some leather into that gap there, I can then contact adhesive the whole lot, crank it up in the vise behind me just to hold it all flat, give it a few minutes and see how that comes out, and then I can start shaping it with the sanding machine. Fingers crossed. Alright, just going to see how well this has worked. This is like one of those complicated puzzles. Try. The 100 moving parts. do this without stabbing myself or cutting my finger off. Those are the wedges from the bottom, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, come here. Ah. Move. Oh. In fact, put those ones in the wrong way around. Should be like that. That works better. Take a bit off of that. See if I can do this without stabbing myself as well. Alright, there we go. Not amazing, but it's the first time I've ever done this, so ignore the elastic band for the moment. So I wish I could get better camera angles and stuff like that for you, but for the moment, this is what I can work with. It's going to be made smaller. Right, now for the glue. Try and do this without losing all the bits. Cold coffee. Oh my God. The sun's shining. I didn't think that happened anymore. Ah. Sorry, that was a customer just come in. sit here and start assembling this. This is a bit overkill, but it's all fine. I don't know if the jaws are wide enough. Oh, dearest love of mine. Oh no, I think I've got it. I got it. It's alright.
You don't love me anymore.
Yeah, I still love you, but it's...
Yeah, okay.
Apologies, I know I probably had my back to you the whole time I was doing that, but what I've done is clamped it up in the vise. It's a contact adhesive, so should hold it in place for a little while. I will come back to you when I think it's ready. Right, it's been a few minutes. I'm just going to take it out of the vise. Take that off. Yeah, it seems to be holding quite steady. So you can see the top of it there. There's a little bit of a gap there, but I'm probably going to cover this with another piece of leather to help hold it stay still, or wrap some cord around it or something. Let me just get at the right angle. There we go. A little bit of a gap in there. But again, the cord will hold it all together. Now to shape it. I'm going to have to do that on the sanding machine over there. I can't really take the camera with me. Apologies. Right, sorry, I wish I could have shown you that, but I've now shaped it. It's still solid on there, which I'm really quite impressed with. I did clip it just there, but that'll probably buff out. And I clipped it there as well. I've got some wet and dry paper. Might be able to. Yeah, actually that's making a big difference. It's just a mark. It's a war wound. That feels a lot better now. That feels a lot better. I can get hold of it with my entire hand. I can grip it. I actually feel like I've got a bit of a grip on it. If I put a piece of leather over the top of that now, because that's obviously taking it down quite thin, it's maybe 1-2 millimeters in places. But if I wrap that with a thinner piece of leather on the outside, glue it down firmly, I think that would work quite well. So again, what leather am I going to use? I'll probably get the wife in here for this one. Hello?
Hello.
Hi dear.
Yeah, that's not bad.
She sounds surprised.
That
Hold it.
looks pretty good.
You might not want to hold it.
No, I don't really.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna, yeah, it's filled in the handle a lot.
Yeah.
Filled in that area.
Yeah.
You can see I'm not having to put my finger right down the bottom of the pommel, but I've got a lot more control over that now. It feels a lot firmer in my hand. Feels like if I strike something with it, like a piece of wood, like shaping it,
it's not going to bounce.
It's not going to bounce back at me or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm going to try and do now is, obviously, I need to. I might finish off a little bit of sanding, but I need to know what leather to use.
Don't
What
you
do
want
you think?
one that either is already treated or one that's going to look nice if you get it dirty? Because you don't really want it to.
That's the thing. I mean, what leather should I use? I've got, as I say, I've got lots of leathers. Should I be choosing one that I'm going to make the sheath from, make the handle and the sheath match?
No, because using the knife is going to make the leather of the handle change. So if you want it to match, it's not going to match for long.
I know.
Okay. If you're not worried about it changing, then yes, make them match, but I don't think they'll stay for long.
And should I just glue it, or should I be trying to do something else? I don't know. I think only time will tell whether glue alone is sufficient.
And if it isn't, you can stitch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that looks like a really good shape.
Yeah, just tidying it up a little bit. Trying to make it slightly less blocky. Trying to get the taper on the edge right down to close to the metal. I managed to do it so it's not covering up the Raven Forge symbol either. I stopped just short of that, which I think is, and it seems to be holding. Yeah, that does feel a lot more comfortable.
Good.
Yeah. So which leather? Let's look at what I've got.
Yeah. What do you want to make the sheath out of?
The sheath, I think, has got to be pretty heavyweight. So I've either used that jeans stuff, which is pretty thick, comes in black or brown. I am. I wonder. Shouldn't really use that, but I'm worrying about the crazy cow. Because my mum bought that for a handbag, for handbags, and if I nick that,
Probably shouldn't.
probably shouldn't. You're right. I am quite tempted to say maybe the Italian leather because it's very nice.
It would look nice.
It would look very nice. But whether or not I use, what do I use for the actual handle? I have no, not that bit. I don't know how to look at this. What deer hide?
That would work.
It's bright red. But then would that work with, what would that work with?
It would work with most of them.
Should we get that out? Ooh, that's heavy. Just open it up because the Italian leather should be on the top. Hang on. There we go. Thank you. It's not overly thick, it's quite soft and flexible. It's pretty strong. It's really good quality. Just like that, just different colour. They're about the same thickness. Do they go well?
They go well together, yeah.
So, what do you think? Handle, sheath?
Yes.
Yeah.
Handle's going to be used more, so it's going to go darker anyway. So if it starts dark.
But this is the same height as that. I mean, just in the sunlight, it'll do that.
Yeah, but even those two together look lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So use this on the handle.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cover the whole handle. I'm probably just going to bring it down to about here-ish and up to about there.
Yeah.
It'll add a little bit more thickness. I took it down quite thin, but then I knew I was going to add a piece of leather to make it thick again.
Yeah, because you've still got a couple of mil there.
Yeah. Right, there's probably an off-cut piece I can use for that, and then use that for the sheath.
It's not going to take much to do that.
No. No, off-cut's right there. Yes. You need a bigger bit.
Mm-hmm.
You got a bigger bit there.
That's the only other bit.
There's more in the box.
Okay. Okay.
Please. Jeans belt. Is the bits and bobs. Ooh, that bit might do it. Ow. Pluglet. Yeah, that bit's going to fit. Almost quite like the way it's doing that, actually. Coming down the handle partially. Right. Right, that's for the sheath. Let's put that down there. Just trying to see how well the bits line up and see where I might need to make another cut. Okay, so roughly speaking, if I cut that along there, what I'm going to do is I am going to overlap it. I'm going to have to skive the edge. Doesn't really like this type of leather. Right. Work this out a bit at a time as I go. It works quite well with the this leather where you can see it against there. So you get the light and dark contrast.
Yeah.
Don't know if the microphone's picking this up, but there's kids mucking about outside.
They're happy.
They're happy kids. It's half term at the moment here in Scotland. The last day of it. It's really bizarre. Today is Wednesday, is it the 16th today? 16th. Wednesday, 16th of February. It's the last day of half term. All because of the Queen's Jubilee later in the year. Maybe. Yeah, okay. Do it a bit more like that. So that's going to put the, there. Where the seam is going to be quite important, I feel. So that I don't end up with a blister. Wrapping it around too many times like that's going to be too big as well. They're running up and down the alleyway in front of the shop. There's an absolute wind tunnel through there at the moment. I think they're just enjoying it. It's quite thin there. Yeah, that'll do. I'm thinking. Quite high, does that? That's going the other way now. This is a really complicated shape. Oof. I doubt the mic's picking that up, but that was a heck of a gust of wind then. It's not really where I want the seam to be. If I can get it down thin enough, it should work. Match up now. I think I can. Roughly fill the edge along there. Mm. I'm not actually going to cut along this line, just in case, because I'm just eyeballing this whole thing. So, customer collecting. That's the wrong way up. Right. Let's see how we're doing down this side of the handle. Might have to just try and trim this or something once it's on, because I've got to get the right shape. There's quite a bit of an overlap there, I think. Okay, I think, yeah, let's skive the more I'm handling this, the more I'm changing the shape of the piece of leather I've cut, and it's a bit annoying. Plus it's almost impossible to pull the damn thing tight. Just doing my hand in. Time's it? Crap, it's 24. close enough, I guess. Just got to trim a bit more down there like that, and then skive that side. Do some tidying up on it and glue it on. All right. What's that edge there? It's getting bloody warm in here. I just might see if I can kind of carve it around like that when tidy it up when I'm done. I'm just going to glue it down and see how well it stays. edge really fine. The thinner it is, the better it'll probably stick. And then I'll scuff that because it'll never stick to that otherwise. Oh, it might be easier if I do it with sandpaper. Wherever so you can figure out where it overlaps. That'll do a better job. Right, before we get the glue out, let's have a tidy up. Lots of glue on this. And we're probably going to heat this up as well and put it on there, on the knife, hot.
Hi.
Hello.
I called you a couple of days ago about how much.
Right, doing a press trade on shoes today.
Got about half an hour to 45 minutes before the guy turns up with the sign.
Oh yeah, we bought a new sign for the shop.
Yeah.
Well, we will have bought it when he's turned up with it. He's turned up with bank details in his hand. this a good soak in the glue, letting it soak in, letting it get well and truly attached. Think about another way of possibly doing it would have just been to fill in this area here with a piece of leather, then wrap leather round it before putting this piece over the top of it. If this doesn't work, that might be the way that I'll do it. I will have to let you know. So we just need to let that set. I can't put that down now. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm a willful bugger. There we go. Get the heat gun. Just need to let this stringy bits of glue everywhere. I really need to redo my hair as well. It's getting a bit fuzzy. Wearing a hat most of the time doesn't help, I guess. Right, so it's just starting to get a bit tacky, which means it's going to be uber sticky. Yes, I did a bit about there-ish, didn't I? That's warm. Right, so I'm going to stop that bit there and then glue the other part of this. I don't think that what I'm doing here is going to be everybody's cup of tea, and I can appreciate that. Some people are probably going to think that I'm messing with the knife a bit too much, or messing with something that looked pretty good beforehand. As I said, my intention for this blade is to actually use it pretty much as it's intended. And if it doesn't fit my hand, how can I do that? So, yeah. if I do this and I can use it and get it working for me, it kind of makes more sense, doesn't it? Kind of winging it a bit, really, aren't I? To make this go tacky again. Right, just a quick bio break. I thought we might. It has shown that it's not gone on very straight, actually. I need to add a bit of work there. I'm getting a bit easier with this. Now we wait for that to dry. Got it lined up reasonably well. So. I mentioned impatience is also one of my qualities. Right, sharp to knife. Let's see how well we can or can't do this, shall we? That's a sharp knife. I mean, sharp knife. Where the heck is my... Ah. Starting to get old enough to hate gravity. Those of you who are interested, yes, that is a really easy way to cut a chunk out your finger. It's not going to win any prizes, let's put it that way, but it's looking, it's getting there. I am destroying this blade. Not my neatest or tidiest work, for sure. As I said, it's going to be used. I'll see if I can figure out a way of tidying it up a bit more. I will think upon it. But for the moment, yeah, that is quite usable. I'm wondering if I can put like just wrap a bit around the bottom here and overlap it onto there. You know, like a... Oh, sorry, Blade, I didn't mean to abuse you like that. No, that's going to need a proper sharpen now. Alright. It's firm. I've got a good hold on the knife. I can feel it's not moving. I can grip it. I can bring my hand up a bit more if I needed to. Although that destroys the balance a little bit, but I can do this. I've got something over here. Ooh, nearly. Right, I've got some black lace here. It's the very last of it as well. Brought some more. Lou? Yeah? What do you think of this? Just try and build up, there's a bit of a step there. I'm just trying to build it up a bit.
Oh, right. Looks a little bulky.
That would be because it is.
Have you got something else you could use? Something that's wider and thinner?
No. Thinner? Yes. Got some rawhide. Some black rawhide lace. It's not wider, unfortunately, but it is thinner. The thing is, I've got quite a step there.
Yeah.
Here, but
You stuck it on now, haven't you?
oh, yeah.
Could have skived it first.
It isn't actually that easy to figure out.
No, I know.
It's a really odd shape. But you see, I've got the space from there to where the helix starts, so I can fill that in. maybe I could have brought the leather down that far, but it's a bit of a head trip when you've never done this kind of thing to figure out what you're trying to do.
Mm.
But it means it's only a partial wrap on the handle, and we preserve this nice part of the blade, handle. But to use this, because
it'll take a bit to build it up.
Yeah, I'm going to build it right up. Could possibly just use this to build it up, and then wrap that over the top of it.
Yeah, that might be a way to do it.
Could actually, let's do it. I'll do it cat-handed. I've got to do it this way around. Something along those lines. And then I think wrap that over the top of it. It's kind of shiny.
Maybe not wrap anything else on top. That looks better than it did wrapped over the top of everything.
Yeah, but you see, well, no, I want to wrap it over. I want to hide some of this and say build up the step, but this has got to be where I finish, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So, how do I... See what I mean about this whole thing being a head trip?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit complicated.
That thing's doing that again.
What is it?
I don't know, it's a building shifting or something. I don't know what it is. It's just bloody annoying because every now and then it goes duck, 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 duck. It's like a piece of wood moving or something. Like that.
Yeah.
You see, you hear that?
I've not heard that before today though.
Oh, that looks worse. And it's in the wrong place.
It's coming from the outside of the wall in that corner.
It's coming from over there. It's like the building's settling or something.
Mm.
Why is it so bloody warm?
It's not.
Yes, it is. I'm sweating. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here. Before anybody says anything, no, this heater is not on. Maybe if I put... Also try and do this without slashing my arm open with my blade.
That would be preferable.
You think? Or even cutting a lace before I can get to use it. Thankfully it's not that sharp. How to make this look right? This is looking terrible.
I thought you were having me on there. Couldn't you?
We're running again. So the person that was standing here, there, where was she standing? She's gone. She vanished. She's now paying for the sign that's just been dropped off. See if I can bring this in. As it's... Oh, it's heavy. Oh. There we go. That is how thick it is as well. Look how thick that is. It does actually smell like a bit of beeswax or something. This has been hand painted, and that's brass. That's a solid brass key. I don't think it was actually supposed to be a real key. It's probably just been someone made it because you've got to find one that's big enough to fit. But yeah, might be able to re-varnish it. I think we could probably, if we got another coat of varnish, because back hasn't got anything on it. Yeah, back hasn't been treated in any way. Yeah, it's got some chains. We might be able to hang it up or just basically bolt it to the wall. See how it goes. Lou's just paying for it now. Where the hell am I going to put this? It's got to be bolted on though, securely. Alright, let's just got that out of the way. So I feel like committing Harry Curry with it. Ah. Oh. I can't see how to do this. I'm going to have to go away and think about this. My wife has quite kindly informed me at full volume that it's 10 to 5 now. I'm liking the direction it's going in. I've just got to try and figure this out. It's looking all right. It's not looking brilliant, but it's going to be a working device anyway. So, I need to put some more thought into this. Right, I'll end it there then. Thank you very much. I've got to try and figure out how to get this video off of that and upload it to that at some point, somehow. As I say, we did talk to the local IT shop today and get an idea of a price for a new computer. I'm just going to have to save up for it. And yeah, I think that probably the first thing I'm going to do is buy myself a new mic to improve the sound quality and everything, and yeah, just take it from there. Alright, thank you very much for watching again. I hope you've enjoyed it, watching me sit here and think really hard and long about a piece of leather. Take care, and I'll hopefully see you again soon.